30 memorable quotes from film The Big Country, 1958, Part 3. The Big Country, 1958, directed by William Wyler, is a sweeping Western epic that explores themes of honor, pride, restraint, and the meaning of manhood. The film follows James McKay, Gregory Peck, a dignified and soft-spoken sea captain from the East who travels west to marry Patricia Terrell, Carol Baker, daughter of a wealthy rancher. Upon arrival, McKay becomes entangled in a bitter land feud between the aristocratic Major Terrell, Charles Bickford, and the rough-hewn Hennessy clan, led by the fierce Rufus Hennessy, Burl Ives, in an Oscar-winning performance. Unlike the boastful men around him, McKay refuses to engage in violence to prove himself. His quiet strength and moral conviction contrast sharply with the bravado and cruelty that dominate the frontier. Tensions escalate over water rights and personal rivalries, culminating in acts of sacrifice and tragedy. Visually stunning and thematically rich, The Big Country challenges traditional Western tropes by portraying heroism through restraint rather than aggression. With a powerful score by Jerome Moros and a strong supporting cast including Gene Simmons and Charlton Heston, the film remains a thought-provoking classic that redefines what it means to be a man in a lawless land. And quote, "You're all a lot of brave men when you're out of gunshot," and quote, James McKay. And quote, "This is a big country. Big enough for both of us." And quote, James McKay. And quote, "You don't have to prove nothing to nobody." And quote, Julie Maragon. And quote, "I don't measure a man's courage by how many people he can shoot." And quote, James McKay. And quote, "I've never seen a man so big he couldn't be licked." And quote, Major Terrell. And quote, "You may outshoot me, but you'll never outfight me." And quote, Steve Leach. And quote, "There's some things a man can't ride around." And quote, Rufus Hennessy. And quote, "You're not afraid of me, are you, Miss Maragon?" And quote, Buck Hennessy. And quote, "You don't belong in this country, mister." And quote, Buck Hennessy. And quote, "I'm not a coward. I just don't like to show off." And quote, James McKay. And quote, "You're not fighting for water. You're fighting for pride." And quote, Julie Maragon. And quote, "He's got guts. More than you think." And quote, Steve Leach, about McKay. And quote, "It's a big country, but it's too small for hate." And quote, Julie Maragon. And quote, "You're a fool if you think that gun makes you a man." And quote, James McKay. And quote, "I don't have to kill you, Buck. You're already dead inside." And quote, James McKay. And quote, "I was raised to be strong, not brutal." And quote, James McKay. And quote, "I didn't come out here to be pushed into a shooting match." And quote, James McKay. And quote, "What do you think this is, the Wild West?" And quote, James McKay. And quote, "You can't fight a range war with honor." And quote, Major Terrell. And quote, "I've never seen a man fight so hard not to fight." And quote, Julie Maragon. And quote, "The Hennessy's may be rough, but we don't start trouble." And quote, Rufus Hennessy. And quote, "You're in the big country now, son." And quote, Rufus Hennessy. And quote, "It takes a bigger man to walk away from a fight." And quote, James McKay. And quote, "There's only one thing worse than a man who won't stand up for what's right. A man who fights for what's wrong." And quote, Julie Maragon. And quote, "You're not going to win her with your fists." And quote, James McKay, 2. Steve, and quote, I'm not ashamed of being decent, and quote, James McKay, and quote, I don't want to kill anybody. That doesn't make me weak, and quote, James McKay, and quote, I'll fight if I have to, but I won't do it your way, and quote, James McKay, and quote, she doesn't want a hero. She wants a husband, and quote, Julie Maragon, and quote, she wanted a man with blood on his hands, not one with sense in his head, and quote, James McKay, about Patricia, and quote, Pat, I came out here to marry you, not to prove I could shoot your father's enemies, and quote, James McKay, and quote, I didn't come to fight your war, I came to stop it, and quote, James McKay, and quote, the land doesn't care who owns it, and quote, Julie Maragon, and quote, there's no room in this country for a man who won't take sides, and quote, Rufus Hannessy, and quote, if I can't live here as a man, I won't live here at all, and quote, James McKay, and quote, you can be the best shot in the West and still be a damn fool, and quote, Major Terrell, and quote, you don't tame a land with hate, and quote, Julie Maragon, and quote, you come high, son, but you're not above a whipping, and quote, Rufus Hannessy, and quote, this feud's been brewing so long, folks forgot how it started, and quote, Sheriff, and quote, you're wasting your hate on me, Buck, and quote, James McKay, and quote, the only difference between you and the Hannesseys is Polish, and quote, Julie Maragon, 2. Terrell, and quote, you want to prove you're a man? Live like one, and quote, James McKay, and quote, a gentleman doesn't always use his fists, and quote, Julie Maragon, and quote, he's the only man around here who isn't showing off, and quote, Julie Maragon, about McKay, and quote, this is a big land, but it's still not big enough for two egos like yours, and quote, Julie Maragon, and quote, you don't own her, and you sure as hell don't own me, and quote, James McKay, and quote, the sky out here never ends, and quote, James McKay, and quote, you're not just a stranger to this land, you're a stranger to yourself, and quote, Julie Maragon, and quote, I'm going to marry her, and I won't need a gun to do it, and quote, James McKay, and quote, this land's too beautiful to be bloodied by hate, and quote, Julie Maragon.